What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. This is episode 7?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I think it is.
6 in
Episodes?
person.
Yeah.
That's right.
Wow, we are moving right along to episode 10. It's coming up very quickly, which will be our first time with a guest. We're going to do that every 10 episodes. So we're excited for that.
Excited. Very excited.
But enough about the future. Let's talk about today and now and what our topic is, which is about the present and focusing on now and not the past. I don't know the exact title yet. I like to come up with the title as I'm editing and listening and see what fits the best.
That sounds good. I couldn't really think of a good title from the conversation we were having earlier. So
no, and sometimes it's hard. As we were kind of talking on our pre-show, trying to kind of figure out the direction we wanted to take with this episode, this episode. And so we just kind of want to talk about just how damaging it can be, I guess, to kind of focus on the past. I don't know if that's the right word, but like,
I don't know. I think that's a good way to put it. Right now on Instagram, I'm seeing a lot of memes of like, it's like these Fortnite memes of all these guys who, like played Fortnite back in the day. What was that, like 2018, 2017, when Fortnite was popping? I mean,
has it really been that long?
I remember squatting up with you, bro, back in the day.
Fortnite, I do. I have some videos of that still hidden on my channel.
But yeah, it's a bunch of the memes. They're like, oh, throw back to this or that, and remember when it was the good old times here and there. And for a while, I was like, oh yeah, that's so true. Like these are so relatable. But then I just kept seeing them, and I was like, it's like, guys, we gotta move on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's the
like play something else, or I mean, you can go back to playing Fortnite, but it's kind of like this idea of like, oh, we want to just like relive the past. And it's like, I don't know how I feel about that.
And that's the point, is where you said move on. Like watching some of those like old throwbacks is like really fun and really cool.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, I open up my YouTube videos with like old Fortnite clips of like, people being bad at the game. It's my favorite.
But if you go back to like for say family stuff, and you start to dwell on like memories with people that are no longer around, or friends that you're no longer friends with and things, then you're just too much focus is on the past, and there's too much longing for what can no longer be, and that we find ourselves spiraling into like depression and stuff because we can't move on and just accept what has happened, and we just need to keep putting one foot in front of each other and keep moving forwards. I think that's very, very important to remember, that you can think about those pasts and appreciate those moments and things, but at the end of the day, you have to let go of the past and move forwards. Otherwise, you find yourself spiraling depression, and our world has too much depression already in it.
Yeah, which is a whole nother topic right there. Yeah, I think then, and this is something I've really been thinking about recently. I think there's just a lot of people who they just don't want to grow up. Like they just want to keep reliving their childhood. They want to stay, kind of like stay a child. It seems like, and stay in that era of when, like, yeah, it was super nice not having any worries, being able to hop on Fortnite, play Minecraft with the boys,
live in my parents' basement, eat food that's been made for me, my laundry gets washed.
Yeah. But it's like at some point you gotta kind of give it up and just let the past be the past, and move on, go forward. Embrace the challenges of adulthood, of becoming a man. Just like embrace it, even though it sucks. We were talking about this earlier, like school right now is sucking, but to a degree I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm kind of like, yeah, this is it. This is part of being a man, is dealing through this. I think a lot of people, they try to avoid that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they do. I think too many people are too scared of stepping forwards and failing, or um, just too intimidated by life and like what it could mean or what it could be, that they
Ooh,
just
intimidated. That's a good.
no,
That's a
yeah,
good way to describe
100%
it.
too intimidated by what about what growing up means and about what being an adult is and taking on those responsibilities. And so they just hunker down and stay in their parents' basements. And
That are just like keep acting childish past when
yeah,
it's like, okay.
refusing to grow up.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like the Disney adults, right? The people who, I mean, you look at them and you're like, dude, bro, you're no different than a 12-year-old. The only difference is literally
Hey,
you're like 32. Like that's it.
she's not 32, but how dare you talk about my wife like that?
That's awkward.
Yeah, it is
Shoot.
awkward. She listens too.
Dang,
You just called her a
out.
child.
Told her out.
She's an
Well, hey, I mean,
I guess
many
what do you
times-
what do you consider a Disney adult though? What does that mean?
oh, people who are like keeping up with every movie, collecting all the toys, like the Funko Pop collection, right? Like, I have
No,
a
she's
couple
not
Funko
that.
Pops. It's okay.
She's not that. She's just a
like collecting
fan.
all of those, watching all the movie, going to Disney World all the time.
She does that.
Have you seen?
She has
seen
ears
the
too.
video? There's like a video of this grown man reacting to one of the Star Wars trailers, and he like breaks down and starts crying. Have you seen that? Have you seen that video? Not even going to get into like him specifically. I mean, I really couldn't.
No,
care
but I
less.
get what you're saying.
But,
That's an example. Yeah. Well, but it's like the excitement of like, especially for somebody older like that grew up with Star Wars in the theaters when they were younger, and now when they came back out with it again, it was like the excitement of that is like so thrilling and so exciting. Like if they were to come out with a new Harry Potter movie, like I would be excited for that if they came out with something like that. Obviously, I probably wouldn't cry about it, but
Yeah.
you can tell in the
But, like,
guy's
that's the thing
face
is-
if you're not if you're audio only. Let's explain to you. You can tell in his face as he watched the trailers, he's getting super excited, and he starts to cry and gets so
Yeah, I mean,
excited, and his emotions
the
is
guy
so
is literally like cheesing and at the same time bawling his eyes out.
yeah.
And
I don't know that that's necessarily living in the past necessarily.
well, in a way it is, because like let's be honest, is that adult and especially man behavior?
No, I would not say it's a
Yeah.
like man behavior, but I mean, have you seen our world?
Well, yeah, and I think that's why that's what kind of got me thinking about this topic, is the fact that like that's the norm to a degree. Like that's acceptable within society, is
To cry over
being
a
being an adult but still acting like a child to a degree. And I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I'm the epitome of an adult, I guess.
No.
But
nor will
I just think
obviously.
society kind of encourages that more
True.
than say like how you're living your life, where I mean you're about to have your son and
Mhm.
start living that trad life.
Yeah, talking about moving forwards. Think about that, and a lot of people run
Yeah,
away
we
from
do.
that.
Well, that's another thing too
just
that
don't-
we could talk
I'm
about, is
pumped.
like
Obviously,
having that perspective of like living your life in a way that would like impact your future children. Making sacrifices now. This is something I think about, like sacrificing right now, so then my children can have a better upbringing. Once they start growing up, or I can have better opportunities to provide for them and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
a lot of society, I mean, getting super excited for a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying, is that they spend too much time focusing on the past and what they used to have as a kid and the excitement that's there, and then they're focusing on the now, and they're focusing too much on the now and not for their future generations, or future
Mhm.
offspring's kids, however you want to say it.
Or even just like I don't really know if I would say it's like living in the past, more so not leaving things in the past, not moving on from that, not, you know, embracing
Change.
manhood
Yeah.
and becoming an adult. Instead, it's like, you know, oh, I did this thing as a kid. I'm just going to keep doing it for the rest of my life. But mind you, it's a childish thing, if that makes sense. I'm having a hard time pointing at one particular thing,
Yeah.
but it's something I've been thinking a lot about, something
Mhm.
I've noticed.
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of get what you're saying, but I'd like to try and focus, more with our topic obviously being about just the past and things and focusing on that. Um, One of the benefits, I think you can focus obviously too much on the past, you can focus way too much on the future, and you can focus way too much on the present. So, like I've said before, balance, balance is
Yeah.
important. However, the past is there for us to learn from.
Mhm.
That's what the past is for. The past is so you can see the mistakes you have made, other people have made, and you can learn from that and not repeat those same mistakes. History always repeats itself. We somehow repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again, and somehow we never
Yeah.
learn. But
Some would say it's in our nature, Jacob.
it really is, honestly. But however, that is what the past is for. The past is for learning um, from others and how they've lived their life. We can see that and learn from that. And the present is for focusing on what you are doing currently and applying what you have learned from the past and
Yeah,
to move forwards.
exactly. The present, we can think about the past, we can think about the future, but the present is when, that's the only time you're actually going to be able to apply those things that you've been thinking about. Like you were saying, that's the only time where, okay, I've acknowledged all these mistakes from the past. Okay, now I'm going to apply them. Oh, I'm thinking about all these things in the future that I want to do and that could happen. Okay, I'm going to do something right now to prepare for that, to build to that point in the future. I think
Yeah,
that's why the present
absolutely.
is goaded. Honestly.
Yeah. And then I think the future is for planning and setting aside things to benefit your kids or your family, like you're
Yeah.
for setting aside retirement or making a plan. So, like, for instance, if you live like check to check, then you can plan out your future so that way you can get to a point to where you don't have to do that. Or if you have payments on cars or house, you can plan that out through your future. But the key point in when you're planning your future is you have to know that it is not set in stone and it can shift. And that's for the present to just go with the flow and learn as that
Mhm.
shifts. And you have those guidelines and those plans for the future, but ultimately they're not going to work out how you want them to. You can try
Mhm.
to, but it's not going to work out how you think it is.
Well, and to like the future is definitely where you put your trust in God for sure. That's something I've
Absolutely.
thought a lot about is like not worrying about, what does the Bible say? Like not to worry about tomorrow. That's for God to worry about. And so does that mean you like shouldn't save money, or does that mean you shouldn't, plan today to benefit tomorrow? No, that's not the case.
Mhm.
But what that's saying is like you don't need to worry about the future. You don't need to be like worrying about the future in the sense of like stressing about it, losing sleep over it, because it's like
Mhm.
God will take care of you.
Yeah. I What you're talking about is one of my favorite verses, and I'm going to paraphrase it, but it is don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow has enough worries of its own. Um Essentially it then goes on to talk about how God takes care of all of the animals and flowers and the food and clothes they wear. So how dare you worry about what you're going to wear and what you're going to do and not understand that God is going to take care of you
Hmm?
because you are created in his image. You are way more important to him than the flowers and the animals and those things. He takes care of all of them. How dare you not think that he's going to take care of you? Obviously, it's not going to be in the way you want. It's not going to be this luxury
So
thing or
true.
whatever.
Yes.
But no matter what happens, you will be taken care of.
Yeah.
And that is one of my favorites because going back to what you said, talking about the worry about today, tomorrow has enough worries of its own. And so focus on the now and the present and what you can do now. You can't do anything about the future. Well,
Yeah.
sorry, you can. You can't do anything about the past. You can do something about the future, but you can't do it now. You can fix it in the future or as you
Yeah,
move
that's true.
forward.
Like
I mean, you can set
do
aside a
things that'll
plan.
benefit you in the
Yes, you can
future,
set aside
maybe,
a
but
plan that
Mhm.
might shift it, but ultimately you can't change what's going to happen tomorrow by worrying about it today.
That's true. That is true.
And that is very important.
And that's why, if you know you have something coming up, for me, like I have a test in calc coming up and I know that's coming. So, I'll study a little bit for it today and tomorrow and moving forward. I'm not going to stress about the test. I'm just not going to. It's not worth it.
Absolutely.
Because again, like you said, the test will take care of itself. If I study and I know, okay, today I'm going to know this material. Okay, tomorrow I'll make sure I know this material and so forth. I don't need to worry about the test.
Now, obviously, you're not just gonna like have your test study book there and just be like, it'll all work out for me. No, you
Yeah,
actually have to
that's
put
not a
some
good course of
effort in.
action.
Obviously,
Yeah.
you actually have to prepare a little bit, but there's no point in stressing out. As long as you do your part in preparing for it, ultimately it'll work out.
For sure. Yeah,
You still have to prep and do the work, but there's no point in stressing about it because stressing about it or worrying about it isn't going to do anything.
Yeah, that's true, bro. We've definitely moved off the topic of like leaving things in the past, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I know you wanted to touch more on just talking about how people just don't want to live or people want to live in the past and refuse to grow up and stuff. So I wanted to ask you like if you had more to say on that and like which direction you wanted to go with that.
I think for a lot of people my age, a big thing is like video games.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously I don't think they're bad, but growing up, and I'm sure you can relate to this, like we played a ton of video games.
Way too much, dude.
That was a big part of our childhood.
Yeah.
And part of growing up, becoming an adult is acknowledging, okay, yeah, that's fun, yeah, that's enjoyable, but I can't do that all the time.
It can't take all my free time.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, it's hard to
spend all my life doing this.
Absolutely.
But there's more to growing up than just like letting go of playing video games all the time.
Yeah.
I think
letting go of playing all the time.
Yes.
Not just video games, just playing in general.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's taking responsibility, growing up and taking responsibility, not only for your own actions, but especially when you have a family, you take responsibility for what they do and responsibility in taking care of them.
And I think that's when you really start to become a man is when you start embracing responsibility. I mean,
absolutely.
I think a lot of people run from it. I mean, I know people personally, and they have so much potential, and I can just I can see that in them from talking with them, from hanging out with them. I'm like, dude, you could really do something, but
they're scared to take that first step.
Yes, neglecting the responsibility that you could take. And I guess a good question would be like, what do you think their responsibility is as a man that you need to start embracing that really separates boys and men?
I think embracing the fact of you have others to care for when you get to the point where you do have a family and you have others to care for. To me, it's a little bit easier to be more responsible and to put work before play when I have somebody to take care of, because it gives me the motivation I need. Because like
Yeah,
if it's
it's
up to
valid. It's
myself,
valid.
I don't. I'll be fine, so I don't need to do that. I'd rather chill and hang out with friends or whatnot, and not obviously be
Yeah,
working, because that's not fun. But when I
yeah,
have
I feel
somebody
you.
to take care of, I have the motivation I need to do that, because no matter what I have to do, I will make sure that I can take care of my family. I mean that
Mhm,
is that's a fact. I mean that it
mhm.
does not matter what's going to happen. I will make sure that I can take care of them on my own. Like if
Yeah,
I need to ask for help, I'm not afraid to ask for help. But ultimately, even if I ask for help, whether it be borrowing money from somebody, I will return that money to them.
yeah,
Like, and I think embracing the fact of that you have others to care for other than yourself, that life isn't about you. Like you're not working for yourself, you're working for others. Even when you don't have a family, something I failed at is preparing for when you do, so you can be a little bit better off. I didn't
yeah.
do that very
That's
well,
that's something I've been thinking a lot about. Yeah,
but it's really good to do. And so I think that's, as you asked, I think that's a characteristic um, of a man versus a boy, is when they accept that someday they're going to have someone other than themselves to take care of, and that they can start preparing for that and working for that future. That's where planning the future is beneficial.
yeah. And you can't, you doing those things like you're saying. Like for me right now, obviously I don't have a wife, I don't have kids, and in a lot of senses, I am only kind of providing for myself. But something like you said that I try to think about is I'm not, it's not going to be like this for my whole life. I'm going to get to that point where I have a wife, I have children, I have a family that I need to start taking care of.
Mhm.
And like you said, okay, I'm building up to the point where I'm ready. I'm ready for that responsibility. I'm making sure I'm working. I'm saving up money. I'm doing those things. And in doing those things, I can't, like we were talking about earlier, I can't spend all day playing video games. I
Absolutely.
can't spend all my time just kind of living for myself and honestly just doing like childish things. Like
Yeah.
I just can't do it. You can't do both at the same time.
Oh, I think a lot of people, yes, you are right. And I think a lot of people, though, think that you have to be ready to take
Mhm.
on that responsibility. And that's not true. That goes back to trusting God. If you
Oh
do
yeah.
find that right person, and your only excuse for like not getting married and having a committed relationship or being a family with that person that you want to do that with, and
Mhm.
to have that partner by your side to tackle life with, if your only reason for not doing that is because you are trying to be in the perfect position for that to work, don't. Why are you waiting?
Yeah. That's so true. I think that kind of reminds me of I'm sure you've met those couples who are like, oh, we're waiting to get to this certain point before we have kids.
Yeah.
Like we're waiting until we're ready, and
You're never
they just kind
ready.
of never are. And so I think you're absolutely right, bro. And I wouldn't want to imply that I'm not doing this where it's kind of like a
No, no, I
balance.
wasn't
It's
saying
kind
that
of a
you're
balance.
doing that, because
Yeah.
you are in a position to where it's really not ideal for you all to get married, being in school and stuff like that. And with you being in school, that is a way of preparing for the future. Is you're
Mhm.
guaranteeing yourself a career and a path that you enjoy. I I don't like college. I think college is a waste of time and
That's
money
not
in
crazy.
most scenarios,
Mhm.
unless you are going for specialty degrees. The amount of people that go to college and have no idea why they're going to college, like they don't know what they want to go for, they switch several times, they're just getting debt for no reason. And most of
Yeah.
the time, a job that they're never going to actually follow a career in. Lexi went to college and got a degree. Do you know how often she uses her degree?
Yeah. She doesn't use it at all now, if
Never.
I'm not mistaken,
No.
right? Yeah.
She has started to use what she's learned to help me market for our business. But
Mhm.
her jobs that she has have nothing to do with her degree. They just hired her because she has a degree.
Yeah. I think that's another aspect of being childish, is like having no direction, no goal, no, okay, I'm going to school for this reason to
Yeah.
accomplish this thing. It's just kind of like, oh, I'm just going to aimlessly do it and hope it
Don't
works
just
out.
jump into it and not know what you want to do. Like, it's okay to take a year or two break after high school
Yeah, I
and
would
think
agree with
about
that.
it. And if you want to choose a career, like a medical field where, you need to go to college for that, like that is very
Mhm.
important, then do it. But most things that people do in life, you don't need a expensive college education for. Like there's many like technical colleges and things that are 2-year programs that teach you more hands-on, are way better and way more affordable, and then you're not in debt and you can like get a
Sure.
job.
Yeah.
Too many people go to college for the college experience, and that I think that's where it goes to focusing on the past. They want one, they don't want to miss out on that college experience, or parents don't want them to miss out on that college experience.
Yeah.
Um, but they're focused on the past to where they don't want to truly grow up and like be
Yeah. I would agree
responsible.
with that, dude. I would agree.
And so they just want to continue to be in school and told what to do.
Yeah. I think, yeah, that's a good point. And I mean,
Obviously, you are going to
I see
school
that.
for a degree that is something you need a degree
Oh
for.
yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, no.
that's obvious. But like when you go to a 4-year college to learn how to cook,
Well, I mean,
why?
I
That's
know
just an
people
example,
who
obviously.
they are in school right now, and I'll be talking to them like, oh, so like, what are you studying, bro? And they're like, oh, I don't know yet. I was like, oh, what do you want to do? And they're like, well, I'm not sure. And I'm like,
Yep. I knew
dude,
it. I know an
like,
exact
you are
person.
setting yourself up for
Yes.
failure right now. Like, just wait. Like you said,
I don't
just take a year.
understand. There's
Don't
somebody,
go and just
um,
pray that God will like direct
absolutely.
you in what to do. Like,
Somebody that goes to our parents' church
Mhm.
she has no idea what she wants to do. I'm like, why? I'm like, who's paying for it? And she's like, I am. I'm like, why?
Tragic.
I'm like,
Tragic, bro.
why are you putting yourself in debt for something that you don't want or don't need because you have no idea what you want? And she's
Yeah,
like,
dude,
I don't know.
that's so true.
And this last time I was there, I asked her again. I was like, I figured out what you want to do. She's like, no, I just want to get through it as quickly as possible. I'm like, so why are you doing
Through to
it?
what? That's the thing. Like,
She just wants to get through college to be
what?
done with it. She just
That's
wants to
crazy.
like be college educated, and it's pointless because she's never.
Yeah, it really is.
She's not learning anything because she's not there for something she enjoys to do.
Well,
She
that
wants to do.
and
I don't understand.
your college degrees, like they're
Our
kind of
society
losing their
pushes it.
value. Well, yes, I would agree, but they are kind of losing their value. I think that's another topic, but that's crazy to me, and I think that's a good
It is,
example.
and they charge way too much.
Oh yeah. Oh, that again, like you,
The system.
like I just said, like that's a whole other topic. I could talk about that
That's a fun topic.
ad nauseum. Kind of get back with what we were saying, like that. All of these examples with school, like it's just childish, in my opinion. It's just not embracing responsibility, not embracing that kind of uncomfortableness of like, yeah, I don't know what I want to do exactly, so I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna make sure I have direction. I'm gonna make sure that the things I'm doing today are going to benefit my family in the future. They're gonna benefit me in the future. Instead, it's just like, oh, let me just aimlessly go about doing stuff and then wonder why I'm in a bad situation, a couple of years later, paying off student loans for like 20 years or something crazy like that.
Absolutely, I just don't get it.
Oh, me neither. I'm not taking
I don't
out
understand
any loans.
debt.
No, thank you.
Like, I don't understand why you would buy a brand new. Yeah, I'm not going to ramble on. I don't. Maybe I will. I don't understand why you would buy a brand new vehicle. Like, I was at the tag agency the other day because I had to get a new title for Lexi's car and switch over the license plate. It was like $104. I was like, geez. I mean, but okay, it is what it is. Thankfully, I didn't have to pay like sales tax or anything like that.
Right.
Somebody in there paid $2,000. I was like, Holy crap! What
Bro,
did
what
you
were they
buy?
driving? What the heck?
It was probably just an ordinary 2023 vehicle or 2024 vehicle, one of the newer models.
That's ridiculous.
And it's just tax and taxes. I'm like, if you buy a 3-year-old car, you save so much more. If you
They're
buy a
re-
5-year-old car, 8-year-old car, they're still great cars.
I mean,
They're-
right now, I got that 20-year-old truck.
dude, and I bet your
It's going-
insurance, your tags, your taxes are so cheap on it.
Yes, insurance has been kind of dicey, but
Yeah,
that's another.
yeah. I just had.
I mean, I'm
added
still young,
Lexi's-
so that's always.
I added Lexi's car to my insurance. I was like, geez. I'm like, is there any way you can lower that? And she's like, well, let me see. I'm like, jeez.
It's crazy.
Anywho,
But yeah, I think materialism and the sort of like instant gratification that comes with that is a really good example of
yes,
some just not growing up.
absolutely. Well, that's our society. Our society is, like you said, stuck in the past, doesn't want to grow up, and all they want is that instant gratification.
Yeah, I think, and
They
it
don't-
is a very
No, I
It's
don't
very,
want
like,
for it.
in a childish way too. Yeah, exactly what you just said. Not working for it. Not
And it's hard
you know,
because
it is.
obviously,
it
I
kinda
wish things
sucks
would just.
sometimes, honestly.
Yeah, no, absolutely it does. I wish things would just be awesome, right away. But that's not how it works.
No.
And I think that's why a lot of people choose colleges is because there used to be a more guarantee of getting a good job right out of college. And
Yes and no.
there used to be.
Yeah, that's true. That is
There
true.
used to be. There no longer is.
Uh, No.
Um, especially when
But
you
dude-
don't know what you want to go for.
that is true. If you don't know what you're doing, that degree kind of doesn't help you at all. But with the whole like not working, I think it's kind of a very childish way of going about life because when you're growing up, when you're a little kid, you take things for granted. You don't appreciate a
Absolutely.
lot of things. You don't understand like kind of having the work ethic for stuff. And I mean, you look at people who want like student loan forgiveness, and it's like, dude, why do like we have to pay for your bad decisions because you didn't want
And
to
not only we,
accept responsibility for what
Yeah.
you're getting yourself into?
these people that did this college degree have these big jobs, are wanting their student loan forgiveness, but yet they don't realize that if the government gives them money, the money that they are getting for their student loan forgiveness is coming from a lot of like single household parents that have 4 kids to take care of, and they're working their butt off to do 2 jobs just to feed their kids and pay your tuition and your
Yeah, pay for your
house.
know,
And all these people that just
yeah,
refuse to work and have a work ethic because they just sit at home and leech off the government. All
Mhm.
these people are working their butt off to pay for your stuff, and they just don't care. They
Yeah.
either don't know because they never learned economics 101 in their life.
or it's like, yeah, just kind of like this ignorance or just this like entitlement.
Yeah, or they just think that's what they deserve, or they just don't care. They're just happy with their life and too selfish,
Yeah, which I think are all
childish.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They're
It is.
all very
I mean,
childish.
it is very childish.
You think like it's so crazy to me because it's like even my youngest brothers, like my younger siblings, like even they understand some of the stuff, but for some reason society pushes.
Younger brothers are taught to
Well, yeah.
grow up,
Yes.
and society
just-
pushes.
It's crazy how society doesn't emphasize any
No.
sort of responsibility, anything like that. And then
That's because society is public schooled, and the public school system is controlled by the government, and the government wants
that's
you
another
to be a little child that is leeching off of them. The government wants you to want them.
I would not disagree with that.
Just
I think-
saying, it's
public
not
school-
that far out there. It's
No,
pretty
you're not
sensible.
even reaching. You're not even reaching at all.
I'm
It's like
not.
right there.
I'm not. It's
Um,
true.
No, it is true. It is true.
Ever heard of a socialist country?
I mean, I've heard.
They're all like, we have free healthcare. Yeah, but
Yeah, and the healthcare is crap.
Healthcare is crap. It takes months to get in for anything.
Speaking of which,
don't get me wrong, our healthcare system blows, dude.
I think the idea of like, how do I put this? I think
we're rambling at this point.
100%. 100%. The idea of being like really poor and being able to access super good healthcare, I think, is kind of crazy. Not to say we shouldn't like help.
Our society rewards you for doing nothing.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree with that. I mean, look at the kind of people, like the illegal immigrants that they pay all this money for.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, these people are just running around acting crazy.
Well,
and we're giving them like $10,000 a month to do it.
Yeah.
I would run around and be crazy for $10 a month. Like, I'm just going to put that out there. Well, okay, so the issue is then they run out of money and I won't be able to get any.
Then the issue is that they continue to print money, which then makes the value of our dollar go down, and then everything else goes up in price, and the minimum wage goes up.
Some reason,
which then when the lowest job,
even though we're printing money, said, and then our taxes keep going up, even though we're printing all this money that we're spending.
This is all. It's all
totally gone off topic completely.
Yeah, that's because people are dumb. People don't understand basic economics. Like our money used to have a gold value with it. Like it had a value with it.
That's where
the gold standard exactly does not exist anymore. Our money used to be backed by gold. It is no longer backed by gold. We just need to go back. Let's just go back to carrying gold around in our horse saddlebags.
I mean, I'm down. I'm down for the horses too. Dude. But is that living in the past?
Got me there, kind of a little bit. Yeah. Fine. If we're gonna live in the past, let's pull the Minecraft standard. Let's start using diamonds as currency.
Okay. It's like I saw a meme about like the diamond trade, and it showed some like little kids' hands, and they were like, hold up, let me angle this. They were like nubs like this. It was gross. I was like,
we're so off topic.
It is horribly off topic.
We're tired.
I'm pretty tired.
It's been a long week for us guys. But we are dedicated to have a podcast.
Did you watch the debate last night?
I did. Maybe that's what we should have talked about, dude. It was terrible. It was awful. They both suck at debating. That's all I want to say.
Okay. He's goated. Okay, goated at the sticks. But it was I wanted something more from it. I was left not full.
There was no debate. They're not debating anything. They're just criticizing each other.
The idea of like the old school debate, like the way that it used to be in our country, I like for us to go back to that and for us to have those kind of debates again, we would have to fix so much stuff in our country because like there comes with a certain level of like respect for this country when you have those kind of debates. And on one side they have the guy that they gave 34 felonies to and let some guy shoot him. And then the other person is this woman who literally stands for nothing and is just a complete vessel for like everything wrong with the government. And
she just
it's like
saying things that sound good.
Craziest forces.
There's nothing
ever.
backing it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everything she said, like I was just thinking, I was watching with my roommates and we were just like, bro, there's a video of you saying the complete opposite of what you're saying right now. Like everything. I was like, this is insane. Like,
okay,
Yeah,
We're
it was
focusing on the
crazy. It was
past.
crazy.
We're failing on our own. All right, back
Nah.
on topic, everybody. I hope you enjoyed our segment of complain about our government.
Yeah.
But now we will return to our regular scheduled programming.
Program. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyways, welcome back.
I
Mace.
think so. So the reason for the way society is, I think it is because of it's like a it's like a death spiral. It's like society encourages people not to grow up, so people don't grow up, which makes society need to encourage it more, so people can rely on like the government, like you were saying earlier, rely on these like social programs that we have, and or just like kind of the way things are set up so that they can continue to be sort of childish, and then it just keeps going and going and going, and that's why.
Well, like our school system
That's why we
used
have
to
things
teach.
like Kamala Harris.
Our school system used to teach people how to like be productive adults, like cooking class, sewing class, woodworking class, shop class, all of these things, and they slowly are getting rid of all of these traits and actual skills in life. Like today at the gas station, the school system is failed.
Well, yeah, I was just on the phone with my dad a little bit ago, and we were talking about this. It's like, since 7th grade, so since I was 13 up until I was 17, so yeah, 4 years, I literally like did not learn anything in English whatsoever. It was the same like rinse and repeat English class.
That you just said whatsoever instead of whatsoever. Lexi gets mad at me all the time for saying
whatsoever.
Yeah, who
I don't know
cares?
the difference.
She does. She does. But
okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. That's all right.
My bad.
But didn't learn anything at all. Had the same rinse and repeat format every year. So it was like at the start of the year we would read this book, and then we'd read another, and then in the spring we would do like a writing segment, and at the end we would do poetry. It was the same every single year, but it never built off of anything. There was never any like further learning. So by the time I'm a sophomore in high school, I'm doing the exact same thing that I was in 7th grade. And I remember just being so fed up and thinking to myself, like, why am I even here? Because I'm not even learning anything at this point. I'm literally just being told the same thing. I remember, like Fortnite Mobile was still a thing. And so I would literally bring my controller to class, and I would play Fortnite on my phone.
I wonder why you still
finished English with an A.
Fair enough.
I still finished the class with an A, bro.
Fair enough. Well, okay.
It's like, and that right there to me sums up so much of the issues with it.
That is where they are not adapting, and it's actually going downhill. And I'll tell you why I think it's going downhill here in a second. But that's where we need to look at the past of school and what has gone right and has produced successful human beings, and where what we've changed is no longer produce successful human beings, and we need to learn from that and fix it. But I think why school systems are failing nowadays is because teachers are having to parent kids.
Yeah.
And so instead of kids coming to school and listening and actually getting something out of it to where the teacher can just focus on teaching, they now have to worry about 25 to 30 other kids in the same classroom or more.
So true.
One teacher has to deal with all of those kids that don't parent. And when they want to get after this kid, they can't do anything. They can't hit him with a ruler, nothing, detention. And kids don't care. Kids don't care about that. But then if they call their parents and be like, hey, your kid did this, they're like, nah, you're lying. My kid's an angel, And so that, I think that is part of the reason that the school system has gone downhill so far, is that these teachers no longer can focus solely on teaching and helping these kids to learn, but they have to worry about controlling their classroom because kids are out of control.
Which again, that builds on the issue of now maturing and not becoming an adult, because
The
especially in high
parents
school,
aren't.
that's really the transition into adulthood.
Yeah.
And I look at so many of the people that I went to high school with, and the way high school is structured, I'm like, this isn't going to turn me into a man. This isn't going
No.
to help me.
Well, part of the
become a good
problem is their
man
parents
and
haven't
help with
matured into
society.
adults.
Yeah.
The parents are living as kids, and so they're learning from their examples, and their examples
That's so
suck.
true. That's so true. Yes. Yeah. And you can't, honestly, you can't have the American society, the American culture that we look back on in like history class when you read books. Right now I have a book on the settlers in Ohio and how they basically what is that called, not pioneers, I'm blanking, but anyways, it's a book on them settling out Ohio, building building American culture back then. We're not going to be able to ever go back to a point like that, or ever have again this respectable American culture where we respect our government, we respect the process, or whatever term they use. We respect our institutions. We respect our fellow Americans when
we respect, period.
Well, yeah, when there is something to even respect, we can't have that if people aren't acting like adults. If you don't have men taking up that leadership, taking up that responsibility, following God, doing all these things, and women doing their roles. Well, we're not going to be able to have this great, prosperous society if we have guys to go full circle here, just crying over Star Wars and getting excited for that and neglecting all other responsibilities.
Well, and for the Zoomers out there, or the people that don't have a family yet, or don't have kids yet, but are wanting to or looking into that, this is a time for you to learn from the past. Look at this past generation, or the kids now, and these iPad kids, and these just terribly behaved kids that scream and throw tantrums, are spoiled, get what they want, and just have no respect for anyone except themselves. Learn from those mistakes, learn what those parents did, and then look back even further at the adults that disciplined their kids and told their kids because I said so, and didn't give them what they wanted just because they wanted to, and how they turned out versus how these new kids turned out. And please do that with your kids. Like, this is where we can change society, because ultimately it comes down to the next generation. And right now, the upcoming generation is awful. They are not the generation that is in your middle schools, in your high schools, and in grade schools nowadays they're majority terrible kids. Not all of them. There is a huge group that are great kids. However, most generally, they are all terribly behaved kids that have no respect for their elders or anyone but themselves. And that is why our society is the way it is. So parents, please look at the past, learn, go ask your grandparents how they did things. Go ask, if you can, obviously, but learn from those older people and see how those kids grew up to be successful, and then see how the most recent parents did it and how their kids are not successful. And please learn from that.
Yeah, dude, that's so true. And I saw something, I saw some meme, I think it was the other day, and it was like, people want the society of like the past, or the society that like built our nation, but they don't want to carry the ideals that
they don't want to do
got us to that point. And I was thinking about that. I was like, dang, that's so true. So much of our culture, so much of society is looking down and denigrating the past, and looking at the people who built this nation and got us to this point in society where we are today, just dogging on them, looking down on them, all of these things, I just think to myself like, dude, if you want all these things, if we can look back in the past and be like, yeah, that was a much better society, but then look at everything that built that, everything people thought, and just think, oh yeah, I'm going to completely neglect all of that, and then you sit there and you wonder why we have all these issues that people didn't have in the past. It's just like, dude, what are you even on right now?
We need to learn from the past a little bit more than we do, I think.
Really?
We spend too much time criticizing or picking out faults from the past instead of just simply learning from it.
Yeah. I think you're right about that too. It's like, it's learning from the past. It's not trying to go back. It's not trying to rewind the clock.
Yeah.
It's looking at the past and being like,
Yeah.
okay, this is how I'm going to apply it right now
Yeah.
in the present to
Absolutely.
build and have a future similar to the past.
Absolutely. We're not trying to criminalize people from the past or pick out what they did wrong or their failures or whatever. We're just simply trying to look, see how they did it, see what the outcome was, and learn from it. It's quite simple.
It really is. It really is. Yeah.
Well, honestly, life is quite simple when you choose to look at it logically.
That's true. But hey, it's hard to do that if you don't have any logic. So
Most of society doesn't have logic. Hey, facts don't care about your feelings.
I don't want to hear that phrase, bro. I don't like Ben Shapiro. I don't.
Anyways, I
saw a video of him debating a Christian, and this Christian brought up like the most.
Are you going back into literally our last podcast?
Oh, dude, we talked about him.
We did. That's why I brought up that phrase. Bro, already forgot the podcast that released like yesterday. Dude. It literally released yesterday.
Listen, bro. Like, my brain is so fried right now. Like,
dude, I know.
It's ridiculous.
Anyways, even though our brains are fried, I think we actually wrapped it up into a nice little ball, pretty good, and kind of made
it was
the
a
points.
Jumble, and then we just put a little bow on there, wrapped it up.
Yeah,
put a bow on it.
Yeah, it might not be nicely tucked and wrapped properly, but it's got a bow on top. So,
Jacob's just gonna have to do a little bit more editing on this episode than others.
Yeah, definitely, there was definitely a lot of conversations that went on in between segments.
Yes,
for sure.
And maybe those segments we don't even put in. So they'll never know though.
They'll never know.
They'll never know.
Except if I keep this in there.
It's true. It's true.
Anyways, I think I'm good to wrap it up unless you have something else you want to add.
I don't have anything else.
Perfect.
I would encourage you as a listener, embrace that responsibility, bro. Or
absolutely.
Girl slang for a friend that's a girl.
Okay, I'm going to talk over Jackson because he is struggling. Anywho, thank you for listening. If you made it this far, we really appreciate it. If you didn't, well, you won't hear this, so it doesn't matter.
Tragic.
However, make sure you please leave us comments and let us know if we brought anything to your mind and you want to share your perspective on it, whether you agree or disagree. Or you just want to share some hate, send it our way. You can contact us at the zoomerperspectiveshow@gmail.com. You can go to our YouTube and leave a comment, or if you are on any podcasting apps, there should be a link to a way you can leave us a text that goes into our fan mailbox. So feel free to contact us. Let us know what you think about our show. Other than that, we will catch you guys in the next episode.
All right. See you guys.
See you guys. We're going to go to bed.
Yeah, real.